I'm sorry. Is it weird that I'm touching myself when I start this video? Because I don't mean it to be. It happened. I guess I'm prematurely thumbing the fucking button here. Anyway, importantly, this is a super important, high-speed, amazingly timed update to have me throw out here. Guys, recently I've talked about, wanting to dial back on the doing engine block work and all that stuff. And there's reasons behind it, right? One of the reasons being the amount of time it was going into the labor, but that wasn't the biggest one. The biggest one about doing short block builds or whatnot is the fact that the biggest hassle for doing short blocks is that means I have to go out, buy blocks, hope the blocks are good when I'm getting them. That all the process of just finding a block is a pain in the ass. Now, the prices I usually get are good, and it used to be because I used to constantly scan the market and stockpile shit, but I kind of want to get away from that. Recently, like I've talked about, my somewhat failed experiment with keeping a stockpile. All of that stuff that I'm stockpiling, all of that shit did sell like relatively quickly, back to back, which is weird how that happens. Sit on something for so long and then all of it sells like almost right away at the same time. And then so I've only got one more thing that I'm sitting on that I haven't sold yet, which is RBB head. Now, why I called it a somewhat failed experiment is because I had to come out of pocket for money for that, so I had to make an investment to make the money back, and it took a long time to turn around. Like, I had it for months. Now, months may not seem like a long time, but when you're trying to run a business, which I'm getting more and more used to the fact that VHP engines kind of is, that when you're running a business like this, you need to be able to see shit move. Like 30 days is what I'd like to see. Like if I'm getting something, it has to be gone in 30 days for me to really consider it a worthwhile investment. So the fact that I kept all this stuff that I had for months makes it seem like it's really not a worthwhile investment. And now I have a problem with, I have the Type R, my wife has a Cadillac, and those are two cars that I don't want to put fucked up engines, dirty engines in the back of the trunk. The SI, I gave it back to the dealer like loaded with oil. So they're going to have a mission when they go to clean it. I would imagine that they're going to replace a lot of shit in the trunk on that car, because it's probably going to be easier to replace panels and shit than it would be to clean it. So I'm not doing that to the Type R. That's not happening. So that only leaves one other running car that I have available to me right now, and that's the S2000, which has a very tiny trunk. And it's slammed to the ground. So going and putting a long block in the trunk of the S2000 is not something I really want to do. So I'm backing off the whole short block thing, or providing blocks, because it's just easier for me to get ahead and put that in anything, because I can wrap that up real good and put it in the floor of my car. It's not nasty necessarily. Even if it is nasty, it's not the end of the world. I can secure that pretty well, as opposed to doing a long block, because 9 out of 10 times when I buy an engine, I'm buying a complete engine, right? And then the secondary thing, which I considered a fail for the CSS blocks that I have those stockpiled, is the fact that despite the fact that I did wind up selling both of them, or actually I had three, the B18, the K24, and the K20, all three of them sold. The problem was it takes up a lot of space. Those blocks, I don't want to keep outside stored like I do most of my other shit. They're expensive, so I don't want to leave them outside. Once the work is done, they stay in their box, stay wrapped up, and they stay inside. You would imagine that 3 short blocks that are fully encased in a box with foam and everything takes up quite a bit of space. I'm sure that some of you guys have seen my pictures. Some of you have seen my videos where I show the house. It takes up a lot. So I don't want to do that anymore. So that's why I'm kind of like slowly backed away from it. Now, of course, I'm sorry this is taking a long time for me to get to the point, but I now have a supply train that seems to be somewhat steady. Pretty much, I'm told like, hey, ask for a block. If I have a block, we'll do it right away. Or if we don't have a block, we'll get it. So this saves me going out to have to find a fucking short block. This saves me going out to source a short block. And it also saves you. So I don't want to get to the point where I'm telling you guys I'm not going to do engine blocks anymore for you guys unless you send me one, because I understand that that's the one advantage that my local engine builder guys can, peers have an advantage over me, because they make you bring your own core, or but they live in South Florida, so they deal with the same kind of market that I deal with. So it's easy for them to find one cheap or whatnot. But if I'm dealing with people that are out of state, most of these guys are asking for me, or most of you guys are asking for me to build a block, don't have one to send, you're just relying on me to provide one, then that means I got to go on the mission of finding one and all that shit. and then recently finding one that, you know, they're imperfect because, like I said, they're old, need machine work, and that's just a whole nother hassle. I got to find the block, then I got to send it to a machine shop and all that stuff. So now, not only do we have a steady source for blocks, I think my core price is not going to change. It's still going to be the same. And also we have available for CSS. So for the CSS blocks, again, my prices are going to change if you want a CSS block. And also, you don't have to go through me to build one. If you want to just buy a short block, you can get it through me. And again, like I said, my core prices are still the same. The CSS core price is the same. But the good thing is it's going to be a little bit more variety because, you know, well, I guess more variety because I had to pick and choose which one I was going to stockpile. So if you want a K24, you want a K20, whatnot, you can order that. Also, sleeve blocks, which is something I said I wanted to do earlier in the year, but I kind of backed off of because of how long it took me to sell the CSS blocks. I figured the sleeve block is never going to be more expensive. It will be difficult. But the fact that it is now, I will be able to have that as an offer. Now, again, you can buy these bare blocks for me, and I'll see about getting them listed on the, I think the blocks are already listed on the website. But, you know, get them listed so we can have them. Now, there is a wait time for the CSS. It'll ship to CSS, it'll get its work, and then it'll ship to you directly. And then I would imagine it's going to be the same process for the sleeve work. Now, as far as the sleeving goes, I have a ballpark idea of what the price is going to be, but, you know, I'm going to have to dig in it again because it's been a long time since I looked at it. So I got to see what the normal asking price is for these blocks, and then I can post accordingly. But the secondary thing that's super important to this is not just the fact that I can provide you guys with CSS blocks and sleeve blocks without me having to keep a pile of them in my house. As more importantly for me, if you guys want to do an engine build, it's going to save me going out to search for one. So yeah, now I can't, you know, I'm not gonna really drop the prices on it because, you know, everything has to be with the shipping and all that stuff factored in. So regardless, at the end of the day, I'm still going to be paying. Actually, I think I'm going to be paying probably more. I'm going to be paying more for these than I would be if I was buying them locally. But the difference being that is the convenience factor. So I'm not going to uptick the price. I'm going to keep the price where it's at and just take that as a loss. But I'll take it as a loss based on convenience because I'm not going out dealing with somebody traveling an hour, you know, haggling prices, throwing it in the trunk, and then, you know, dealing with taking it apart. So yeah, that's just that. It's super cool and important, the update. It's the timing couldn't be more perfect with me buying the Type R literally like a week and a half ago and having this problem that I've been ignoring. Like, how am I going to get blocks in my house? So this is something I wanted to share to you guys. I mean, even if you other local engine builders, I don't know. I never like to assume that, you know, who's watching and who's not watching. But if you're a local guy and you build engines or whatnot, and you happen to want a block core and you also don't want to deal with the same process, or if you got a guy that you know that's looking to buy something but you don't want to deal with the hassle of the process, just hit me up and we can get you hooked up too. All right, guys. So thanks for watching. And well, if you're watching on YouTube, social media links are in the description down below. Instagram is the best way to get a hold of me. It's the one I get regular notifications for. Facebook Business is whack. It pick and chooses when it wants to send me notifications. And I guess and Snapchat, I'm not always paying attention to. So, all right, guys, hit me up if you need anything. Thanks for watching, and peace.